am definitely cocky.
Why are you cocky?
I don't give a damn. My fear is that because Congress doesn't articulate its position in Tamil Nadu, we are not even in the daily political conversation of the average person.
There is a photograph from many years ago, which is at least etched in my memory as a journalist, where you are being taken away and you have your fist raised upwards to the sky.
Because it is a
like you're a hero instead of being someone arrested for corruption charge. Karti, you have been speaking about what you've called a possible identity crisis for the Congress in Tamil Nadu. I think the point you're trying to make is that your party is neither the opposition nor is it seen to be the party in power. Explain what you mean by the dangers of an identity crisis.
See, we lost power in Tamil Nadu in 1967. So it's going to be close to almost 60 years now. And we've not been in government in any form or shape since then. And we've done well in elections. We've lost the occasional election as well. But every time we've done well in elections, it's only because we've had an alliance with one of the Dravidian parties.
Right.
And the Dravidian party comes to power. But they don't form coalition governments. They don't give us space in the cabinet. So when you're neither, and so we have never been the ruling party. And neither are we the opposition because we are in alliance with the ruling party. So when you're neither the ruling party nor the opposition, so what space are you occupying? I mean, I don't know in parliamentary democracy what this is. Either you are government or you are opposition. And we can't have this no man's land. And the Congress has been, it's okay to be in the no man's land occasionally, but you can't be in the no man's land for 60 years and think that you're capturing some space. And the point is, in parliamentary elections, yes, there is a clear value which the Congress brings to the table. It brings the secular sheen, particularly after the
Does
BJP.
the DMK not have that sheen on its own?
What happens is that people believe that once the Congress is in the alliance, it will be steadfast in opposing the BJP's Hindutva policy. But if the Congress is not in the alliance, it sort of gives the flexibility for the regional party to do what it wants to do post-elections too. So that the Congress is the anchor, the secular anchor, which sort of adds value. But in an assembly election, that doesn't really work. So we've had elections. Before, it used to be true that only the alliance with the Congress would win a Dravidian party a mandate. But now, particularly, Jayalalitha has demonstrated that it's possible to win elections even without the Congress party. So the Congress's relevance in state politics is getting shrunk. And newer political formations are coming up. Tamil nationalism, political parties have sprung up. Every now and then a movie star pops up thinking he's going to become chief minister. And
Like Vijay.
He's one among the long list of people. I mean, and they will all take away a little bit of market share. When all that is happening, why would a young person get excited about the Congress party, which is not going to be the opposition, because it doesn't speak up openly against the government? Neither is it going to be the ruling party because it's not going to get the spoils of office. So we are in this absolute no man's land, and that is putting us in a very uncomfortable position, in my opinion.
Is that why you have been raising your voice issue-based against the DMK government, which is in a way your own government, on issues like contract killings, on issues like, development models that you disagree with? How do you explain kind of having one foot in, one foot out?
No, I'm not per se taking on the role of an opposition. I am a elected public representative.
Yes.
I have to echo issues of public importance. Middle class issues, unfortunately, in India are never really articulated. Most political parties sort of stay away from middle class issues, urban governance. And the middle class, in my opinion, is an ignored section of society. So I decided that I should speak up about middle class issues which are concerns to the average person who's trying to improve his station in life, that particularly urban governance issues. And that's why I've been highlighting it. If that is considered to be criticism of the government, it's not a political criticism. It could be a critique of how transparent or not transparent we are, and what we are promising and what we are not promising. So it's just being a good public representative.
But when you raise,
this is a whenever I raise this, they always say, "Oh, you are in coalition with them. Why are you doing that?" But this is never said about the communist parties in Tamil Nadu. The communist parties, small however they are, have alliances with one Dravidian formation or other, typically with the winning side. And once the election is over, they stick to their guns. They still articulate their positions. The same is true with the VCK, which is a Dalit identity party headed by Tirumalavan, a very articulate man who always says that alliance is only up to the election. And after the election, we are an individual political party and we must articulate our position. If you don't articulate your position, when you're not in government, why would people even turn and notice you? My fear is that because Congress doesn't articulate its position in Tamil Nadu, we are not even in the daily political conversation of the average person. I mean, we are being forgotten on a daily level. And so I think it's only fair that I, as a representative, and I articulate what is in people's minds. It's nothing to do with an electoral alliance or rocking the boat of an electoral alliance.
Let's take some of the issues on which you've been speaking. As I said, violence that you say is not political violence but really criminal violence. So, for example, the murder of Armstrong. Right. You have taken the detention of a YouTuber, Savaku Shankar. You've said that much as you disagree with him, you do not agree with the Gunda Act being applied. These are some of the issues that you've raised. You think Trichy doesn't need a metro. You're talking about urban governance issues. You're talking about the overreach, as it were, of the administration in some cases, criminalization of politics. What has been the response to your raising these issues? Have you got a nudge from either the DMK or from your own party to pipe down?
See, the DMK has got a very active IT wing.
Yes.
And they don't like it.
Do they like you?
I don't think they like me very much, but that's fine. I mean,
you don't think your coalition partner likes you very much?
I didn't say the party. I think the IT wing.
The IT wing of the DMK doesn't like you very much. All right.
The IT wing of the DMK doesn't like me very much because I am outspoken. I call a spade, but that's me. But that notwithstanding, I have excellent relationships with the DMK party president and the chief minister, Mr. Stalin, who I think has been a very good chief minister. And so I give praise when praise is due. And particularly his outreach to get investments into Tamil Nadu has been a very laudable effort. But these issues, for example, this encounter killings, encounter killings is not good policing. I mean, and Tamil Nadu police is always fancied itself to be one of the premier policing departments in India. You can't kill people in encounters, however distasteful that person is. It's not your call to take that decision. You have to apprehend somebody and bring them before the court of law and then sentence them to whatever crimes they have committed. You can't take that call on the street and shoot somebody and kill them unless it's in self-defense. And always the case is always self-defense, but it's hardly believable. And there is a rise in contract killings in Tamil Nadu. But again, I'm saying these are not political killings. What has happened in Tamil Nadu is many people with rowdy backgrounds have joined various political parties for political refuge.
Including the Congress?
Possibly including the Congress. But in fact, the Chief Minister gave out a list of 260 people who have criminal backgrounds who joined the BJP. So the BJP is a little bit more fancied refuge hub, I think, than the Congress. Yeah, possibly the Congress as well. I mean, so when these people get killed or attacked, it's not because of their political ideology. It is because of their antecedents, because of their past enmity. But their attacks are all planned, plotted and executed by professional assassination groups. These assassination groups seem to be easily available for hire.
That sounds chilling.
It is. It seems to be easily available for hire. Contract killers are easily available for hire. That is a worrying trend. I think that I'm not saying that the police can prevent every crime from happening, but to curb the existence of contract killing gangs is definitely possible by the intelligence and the police.
After you have spoken out on these issues, what has been the reaction of the DMK?
See, the DMK officially, I don't think has got any serious problem because I don't think I'm not causing them any kind of discomfort. I'm just echoing certain sentiments which are prevalent in society. But social media being social media, people some of them don't like the fact, they point out that you're an alliance. But I said we are in electoral alliance does not mean that we need to be in complete congruence on every issue. We will have differences. I will see things differently from them. If we see everything together, we might as well merge the political parties. Why would I be in a separate political party? So I will call things as I see it and as I deem fit, which is not in any way undermining the alliance. I completely accept the fact that our electoral success, particularly my electoral success, is only because of the alliance. Without the alliance, I won't win my seat. I have won twice to parliament, and both times I won only with an
But
alliance.
you don't think that makes you lose the right to criticize the government when needed?
No. Why would that give me the right to go? Why would that take away my right as a public representative to articulate public concern? In fact, it gives me greater responsibility. The fact that I have won and I'm elected actually gives me greater responsibility to articulate public view.
Now, Tamil Nadu's election was probably the most scrutinized by national media that it's ever been this time, mostly because of the Prime Minister's personalized emphasis and focus on it. Before you respond, the BJP got a little over 11% of the vote. It was in alliance with some of the smaller parties, and it clearly is attempting a kind of bingo-like model in Tamil Nadu where you seek incremental gains and one day you aim to be the opposition, not the ruling party. You aim to become the major opposition, a space that you think has been vacated by the Congress and a space which after Jayalalitha, the AIA DMK has been losing out on. How do you look at this 11%, 11.2 whatever percent vote that the BJP took in the Tamil Nadu election?
See, I must admit that the BJP plays a long game.
Right.
The BJP is in no hurry. They play a long game, and they try to improve their position from fourth position to third position, and then they hope to become the principal opposition, and then take a long-term view. But I don't agree with the fact that they've got 11% vote.
Okay.
On paper it looks 11%, but they've had alliances with very caste-specific political parties.
Sure.
And these political parties brought in their caste votes to the table. So it's not purely a BJP vote. This 11% is not a pure BJP vote. I suspect that they themselves would be around 7-8% vote. That's what they would be. So they're not enough for them to win elections on their own, and they won't win in 2026.
Do you see Annamalai as a long-term player or as a...
I don't know. He could be a long-term player.
How did you see him as a political entity?
The point is, but social media has given him a megaphone and a magnifying glass. So he's blown a little bit out of proportion.
And on ground?
And the Coimbatore showed that what happened on the ground. In an urban seat where there is a significant North Indian population, he still lost by a lack of votes.
And that tells you what about Annamalai?
It doesn't say. I think he seems to be in a bit of a hurry, and I think it was he jettisoned the alliance with the ADMK.
Yeah.
So and the party is paying its price. So while the BJP traditionally plays a long game, I think it's in a bit of a hurry in Tamil Nadu as well. And sometimes because of Annamalai's impatience, but his I know he gets a lot of media attention. But that is not directly proportionate to his influence or his writ on the ground. And because the BJP is a national party in governance, some people congregate towards it. And it's also a very urban upper caste party. It doesn't exist in the villages. And because it's got resources far more than most other political parties, their visibility is greater, be it in the media or even on the ground in terms of flags and buntings and all those things. So people sometimes misconstrue all of that as action on the ground. And in social media too, there is a huge bias towards urban upper caste people because they have education, they have the access to technology and articulation. So you again think that their support is greater than what is, you think the support is very great, which is not necessarily true on what is the reality.
One of the paradoxes that you have sometimes spoken on is Tamil Nadu being an extremely religious state. But the BJP's version of Hindutva, not at least as of now, bringing them dividends. So explain that.
You are religious. I'm very religious. I'm very ritualistic too. So I'm very religious. So see, we have more temples per square kilometer than anywhere else in the world. Hindu temples. We break more coconuts than anyone else in the world. Most Tamilians would go to a temple at least once a week, and almost all Tamilians, before they step out of the house, will go into the puja room and put a vibhuti or a kungumam, including me. So it's part of our life. But the BJP misconstrues that, thinking that because people are religious, they'll automatically gravitate towards their Hindutva push. But their Hindutva, as I've said repeatedly, is a very North Indian construct.
You called it a vegetarian Hindutva.
It's a very vegetarian.
What does this mean?
It's vegetarian, Brahminical, Sanskritized North Indian Hindutva. See, the typical BJP person is upper caste.
Can you say that the Prime Minister's OBC, Dalits
not
this election.
He's vegetarian.
But to be fair, not in this election, but in the last election, Dalits voted, just to make the point, Dalits voted in large numbers in the Hindi heartland for the BJP. So this old idea of the BJP is a Brahminical party, does it still apply?
Maybe it's not a Brahminical party, but you must add maybe it's also a Brahmin Baniya party, which is their version of Hindutva, what they're practicing, what they're propagating, their temples and their practices and what they even thrust upon everybody is a very North Indian vegetarian thing. See, for example, animal sacrifice is part and parcel of our faith, practice of the faith in southern Tamil Nadu. But the BJP will be very shy to participate in that. In fact, there was one time in Tamil Nadu where Jayalalitha in fact banned animal sacrifice in Tamil Nadu, and she paid the price for it. So the BJP's, even the Ram temple, their rituals which they practice, the gods, we have 1 million gods in our faith, and the gods they propagate, the gods they promote, are not, they somehow miss out the native connect with rural Tamil Nadu. We have unique village deities. We have different customs where animal sacrifice is part and parcel. You even offer churut or cigars. You offer bottles of alcohol as well. These are all native customs, and the BJP is not at all comfortable with these customs. They want a very sanitized version of other practice, and that doesn't gel well, and that's why and what is the purpose of coming and preaching Hindutva to the people who are already very, very Hindu and who are already very religious? They vote for their political preferences. They're not voting for their religious preferences here. And Hindus are not discriminated, or their practice is not curtailed, or it's not curbed. And
so you're saying for the BJP to work in Tamil Nadu, they'll have to reimagine their Hindutva.
They can't, but they have serious limitations, because they are a very straight-jacketed political party, because they believe in this, one that, one nation, one election, one exam, one this. So they can't have state-specific policies. They can't nuance themselves well. They're straight-jacketed in that, because they're so straight-jacketed. They get, even though they might understand that this kind of, you need to have a special nuance for Tamil Nadu, they just can't do it.
Now, you say that it's kind of very difficult for a straight-jacketed party like the BJP to reimagine any other kind of Hindutva for, let's say, a culturally differentiated society like Tamil Nadu. But when Mr. Stalin's son, Udayanidhi Stalin, made his comments on Sanatan Dharma, I remember you're saying that his comments were being misrepresented and this was mischievous. But do you believe that the language he used was appropriate? Because, Indians are brought up to not insult anybody else's faith.
He spoke in Tamil.
Yeah.
And if you know what the conference was for the eradication of Sanatana Dharma. In Tamil parlance, in political parlance, in political stages, Sanatana Dharma in Tamil only means caste hierarchy. It only means caste hierarchy.
But the language he used.
Listen, I am very Hindu. I go to temples cumulatively far more than perhaps the entire group of people in any other state. I'm very, very religious. But when I grew up, my grandmothers taught me the faith, maternal and paternal. Nobody told me, we are practicing Sanatana Dharma, come to the puja room. It was never part of our language. It is a Sanskrit terminology, but that terminology is only used to mean caste hierarchy, and that is all he meant. Nobody is.
But suppose he had just said what you said, nobody would have objected. He's using languages like dengue, malaria, right? You don't use language like that in public discourse.
I can't, articulate or justify what he said or to give an interpretation. All I'm saying is Sanatana Dharma in normal parlance, in political parlance in Tamil Nadu only means caste hierarchy. Nobody in Tamil Nadu is ever suggesting that you must stop practicing your faith or you can't do these things, you can't go to temples. It's not that there's no such climate in Tamil Nadu. There's nobody prevented. I mean, you're absolutely free to practice your faith on a daily level in your daily life, which like I do. And millions of people like me do it every day, and there is no impediment to it. Nobody, no political party, including the DMK, wants to stop that or impede that or to curb that.
Okay, talking about caste hierarchies, we are in a phase of national politics where the Rahul Gandhi-led opposition seems to have made caste politics in a way the edifice of the countering of the BJP. Mr. Gandhi now talks about, lack of inclusion in beauty pageants. That's one of his recent comments.
I don't think he said that at all. I don't think he said that there's lack of inclusion, but he never asked for any kind of
affirmative action. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
But that's what it's being spun as. He did not say that at all. It's just he was just making a point of order of the sociological fact of what it is. It's like saying if you take the Gymkhana Club today, I'm very clear that 90% of the people in Gymkhana Club Delhi would be very much upper caste, like they are the members of the Madras Club in Chennai as well. I mean, if you do a sociological audit of these clubs, which is a lot of times sit on public land, and you will realize that how skewed their membership is. So if I ever say that, if I ever say the Gymkhana Club, most of the members of the Gymkhana Club, or a vast majority of members of the Gymkhana Club, belong to the upper echelons of society, it does not mean I'm asking for caste-based membership there. That's not fact. That's not true.
But do you look at everything, or should you look at everything? It's a question. I'm not expressing an opinion here. Should you look at everything through a caste lens? The cricket team, the military, the film industry.
The point is this: I don't believe in caste. I don't belong to any caste. I'm casteless.
But that those of us who say that are usually privileged.
100%.
If we had ever experienced caste discrimination, we would never be able to say that.
100% correct. It's about like racism.
Yeah.
I mean, most of my white friends always tell me there is no racism.
Right.
What racism are you talking about? There is no racism. I have black friends. Immediate answer would be
some of my best friends are black.
Some of my best friends are black.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But the fact is that, like it or not, caste is a factor in Indian life. I'm not saying that that's the only factor we should take into account. But what is the harm in collecting data? All we are saying is let's collect the data. This opposition to Mr. Gandhi's caste census is all he's saying is let's collect the data. How we interpret the data, what we do with the data is a completely different thing. He has never said anything about that. All he's saying is let's collect data. So what's wrong in collecting data? What's wrong in collecting data and collecting various kinds of data?
But do you agree the national politics today is being built, the fault lines, the new fault lines are caste versus Hindutva?
That is because the BJP, while they say superficially, they say Hindutva or the Hindu identity, but in practice it's not one. There are so many fault lines. Even today, even in Tamil Nadu, there are issues in certain temples where certain people are still not allowed, and there is always you need a peace committee, you need the SP and the collector come and sort out issues there. It's not completely. And see, even this whole food politics. I mean, I just read that one child was expelled from a school for bringing biryani to school. This is again you're giving your version of what is pure, what your version of your Hindutva, which is exclusionary, which is excluding a lot of people. Because it's not inclusionary and excluding a lot of people. We are saying yes, when they keep talking about Hindu identity, they are not encompassing and embracing everybody. They are excluding a lot of people.
Where do you think this leaves allies of the BJP like Nitish Kumar and Chandrababu Naidu, who've literally played on all sides of the aisle?
See, they are all-rounders. They've seen the world. They've been on a world tour. They'll continue to go on a world tour even after some time. And nothing is permanent about them. And I don't blame them for that. They're pragmatic politicians. And they will take a call based on what is right for their political party and their state, which is fair enough. And they have been with us. I mean, they've been against us. And they've been with them. And they'll also be against them at some point of time.
Do you believe this government will serve 5 years?
See, at the moment, I have no reason to believe that why they will collapse. But they try to bring any more overtly Hindutva kind of legislation. There could be stress to this government, but I can't really predict it. But knowing Mr. Chandrababu and Mr. Nitish Kumar, anything can happen.
Let's talk about Rahul Gandhi. In January of 2024, you made a comment praising the Prime Minister, or at least that is how it was presented in the media.
Again, lost the translation.
Okay, hang on. As it appeared in the media, you were quoted as praising the Prime Minister and saying even Rahul Gandhi is no match for him. Modi is more popular than Rahul. You got a notice from your own party. No, yes?
You're wrong on two.
I also read it only in the media, so do go ahead and explain that comment.
I didn't say that.
Okay, what did you say?
All I said is nobody's there. When the question was asked, I said there's nobody to match Modi's propaganda. And the counter question was, can Rahul Gandhi match his propaganda? I said, there's nobody in India who can match his propaganda. That's what I said.
Okay.
And then the word propaganda was lost in translation when it came into English. And secondly, I did not receive a notice.
No?
No notice has
ever been. So both of these
me.
media reports were wrong?
Wrong. I mean, it was, there's a little bit of palace intrigue involved in it. So be it.
So let's talk about that palace intrigue. But before that, so you're saying you never praised the Prime Minister?
All I said is there's nobody who can match Modi's propaganda in terms of repeating.
Did you say oratory or propaganda?
No, I use the word propaganda.
Okay. You recently did say, though, that while you disagree with the government on many things, you believe that the Prime Minister's push for technology is something he's got right.
Yeah, I think he's understood that right. He thinks that technology can bypass your lack of knowledge of English. I think that he's understood that a little better than most other people, and he's right on that. So, see, every government will get something right, and every government builds on the shoulders of the previous government. So, the government of India is a continuum.
Yeah.
Correct? So, I mean, how can I say that in everything, he's obviously a third-term Prime Minister. He's obviously getting something right. He knows how to win elections at least. I mean, I can't, and he's been a 4-time, 5-time Chief Minister.
Yeah.
He's not faced an electoral defeat in his life. So, I can't, I'll be really arrogant on my part to say that he doesn't get anything right. And of course, I think he understands that technology can bypass a lot of things. And before, you would need to know, be conversant in English or read English to know what's happening in the world or to get connected to the media at that time. And today, I think visually and because of technology, you're able to bypass that. And I think he's understood that. He's definitely understood that. And he's also made use of social media and technology better than any other politician in India.
The Congress seems to be borrowing from his playbook somewhat. And that's fair game. That's fair game.
We've become sharper now. We are the grand old party of India. So we took a little time to catch up. But I think now we are very sharp, particularly after Supriya has taken over as social media head. I think we have been sharp and we've been giving brickbat for brickbat.
You said a bit of palace intrigue was behind that story that you had praised the Prime Minister and you had got a notice. Does your party in Tamil Nadu like you?
I think the cadre really like me a lot. I think they think that I'm a plain speaker who speaks up for them, who's not hemmed and hawed by the alliance protocols, and I call a spade. But yes, at that time there was an opportunity, and I wanted to also to be the party president in Tamil Nadu. It's an appointed position. I think this news was spun twice over to sort of jettison it.
And now, where are your ambitions and aspirations?
See,
now?
I want to be in Tamil Nadu politics. That's very, very clear because I only speak Tamil and English, and I think one needs to speak the language to be in the politics of a particular place. I am not fluent. I don't speak Hindi well. I understand it only in a smattering manner. So I really can't contribute to day-to-day politics of North India. And my place is in Tamil Nadu. And in Tamil Nadu, we've been out of government for 67 years. I think we need to regain our space, particularly when newer and newer political parties are being formed. I think we are getting squeezed out of our space. I want to be there, but whether that opportunity will be given to me, I don't know. But I would like that opportunity to be given to me.
Now, if one goes to your Twitter/X page, as it's now called, there's a very interesting pinned video, which is about the top 3.
I can add a lot more.
Okay, we'll add some now. It's about the top 3 WhatsApp rumors about you, right? And you actually self-reference some of the corruption allegations against you, the amount of money you're supposed to have. I think you've said somewhere that they think I've got money like Bezos, Jeff Bezos, and so on. Now, this sort of sardonic take on the allegations against you, and I'll come to those allegations, what made you do it?
See, social media is, well, it has so many pluses. It also perpetuates a lot of rumors and myths about people, and sort of it can be quite toxic. It can be quite toxic. I'm sure you faced it million times more than me.
And that's an understatement. Yeah.
So you know how it is, and people keep repeating this in social media, and people start believing a lot of it. There was this suspended and dismissed IRS officer, I forget his name, who made this video saying that my father declared agricultural income of gobi is cauliflower, right? Of growing cauliflower in pots and in his terrace, and claimed it as agricultural income, and the income tax department accepted that huge amount of money as agricultural income, which is the most ridiculous thing to say. But he said that in some video, and then this got picked up, and I think the BJP IT wing, the surrogate IT wing, so picked it up, and they kept repeating it. So as I said that, every time I write something, immediately the word gobi is thrown at me, pots, and so I correct them and saying, no, I don't grow gobi, I actually grow asparagus. So that's what I tell them. And then this other thing, then we have this Subramaniam Swami, who anyway has got some kind of past life anger against my father. I don't know what happened to him in his previous births, if he had a previous birth, I don't know. He always comes up with the most outlandish things about us. And he said that I have some 12 bank accounts in the world which have 6 lakh crores. I mean, seriously, I would take that money any day. Believe me, I would take that. If I have 6 lakh crores, I'd happily declare it. I'd pay my tax and penalty, keep whatever is the balance. And that gets repeated. Even it got reported in a newspaper. I even have links of newspapers and all which carried it. And then they will say that I have 24 properties in 25 countries. This is the most interesting part. If I have 24 properties in 25 countries, one property has to be in the border of 2 countries. Otherwise, it's not possible.
Though you had this humorous take on it, for the record, your affidavit declares assets a little over 96 crores. That's your election affidavit.
I'm not saying I'm poor. I've never said I'm poor.
Question is this. There are 2 ongoing cases according to your affidavit.
Three.
Okay. So let's talk about the 2 that have been reported widely in the media. The INX media case, where you were accused of receiving kickbacks worth 10 lakhs, and then the visas for Chinese national cases.
That's even more absurd.
Yeah, these are the 2 big sort of media reported.
And you've forgotten the Aircel Maxes.
And the Aircel Maxes, which was well before. But how do you, in one of these cases, you actually went to jail for 23 days. Let's start there. Those 23 days in jail, describe them.
See, arresting somebody for investigation is par for the course now. You have a sitting chief minister of Delhi who's been in jail for, for months now.
Yeah.
There was a minister who's been in jail for more than a year. There are ministers from various state governments, including Tamil Nadu, Senthil Balaji, who's been in jail for more than a year. So now arresting people and putting them for pre-trial investigation is par for the course. It's because the judiciary allows it to happen. In fact, all these cases are technically for PMLA offences where the evidence is documentary. You don't even need to arrest anybody. But unfortunately, the judiciary allows that to happen. And this process is the punishment. For me, I think I got the bail the quickest because the allegations against me are the most absurd. The most absurd. If you'd actually read my the bail order which the Delhi High Court gave to me, as you rightly said, after 23 days, it clearly says that I have never met a single officer in my life. None of the officers ever met me. So there's no way on earth I could have influenced anybody other than through telepathy. Because they have no record of a telephone conversation. They have no record of...
But your father went to jail for 100 days.
Again, that's because the judiciary allows that to happen. But the reason they wanted to do that to him is because they wanted to make a point. They said, what is the message they were sending? This was 5 years ago.
But what do you remember those 23 days in jail?
I mean, it's okay. I mean, I think...
Did it change you in some ways?
I mean, it's made me more determined to pay back at some point of time.
Pay back how?
I'm sure the world turns. And since we're all talking about Hindu philosophy, karma will come back.
On the allegations themselves, these corruption allegations.
If you read the charge sheets, you'll understand how absurd they are. One is for 9,86,000 rupees after the deduction of TDS and
that's the INX media case.
That's GST. I mean, and you're arraigning 8 other IAS officers. That's the most unfortunate part, because in order to fix me or my father, you also have to fix a whole bunch of bureaucrats who are being in the middle, unfortunately. And they are all retired senior bureaucrats who are being made to come to court, who are made to hire lawyers, who are made to go through this entire process as a punishment. But the IAS Association won't say a word. They all were stellar IAS officers who just followed procedure and who passed whatever government policy was having. I have never met a single one of them in my life. I have no idea what they were doing. The whole thing was a reverse engineered investigation to see companies I was associated with or knew of, what businesses they did, then to look at a timeline to see whether these companies were doing anything with the government of India, and somehow connecting unconnected dots and saying there's a conspiracy. These cases will all die a natural death, and the charges, one is for 25 lakhs, one is for 9.86 lakhs, another is for 50 lakhs by cash, apparently given by a person who's long dead to somebody else, not to me. So nothing will stand in court because nothing is true.
The last case has to do with the allegation that you took money to get visas for Chinese nationals.
Correct.
Your response to it was on a trip abroad. You took a photograph of yourself outside the Interpol headquarters, right? And you sent a photograph of a Chinese restaurant and you posted it. Yeah. Why were you being so cheeky? Because you could go to jail again.
What for what?
It's happened to you before.
Anybody can be picked up even today.
And you got a postcard back, I'm told, for your CBI IO, for your investigating officer.
Every time I go abroad, I need to take permission, so I might as well bring back something.
How did he respond?
I mean, he took it. He took it. It's a nice photograph of where I went. Then a nice post. See, listen to me. Today, right now, the ED can actually walk in, raid you. I mean, sure, you're a eminently raidable commodity.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, I'm sure there's some allegation against you. They can raid you. I'm here. They can pick up, take our phones, take everything away, and both take us before a magistrate. Magistrate will mechanically order custody for us, and then we'll have to fight this whole bail process, and then we'll come. If it's absurd, if it is very absurd like my case, I'll get it back in 23 days, and others will take a little longer how it happens. But everybody eventually comes out on bail. Nobody's been convicted. None of these cases, nobody's ever been convicted. Nobody will be convicted because these are all politically targeted cases.
But how do these cases change a public figure?
See, they do a lot of reputational damage for sure. They do a lot of reputational damage. And then because the process and the draconian powers the ED has, they freeze your bank accounts. And they not only harass you, they harass everybody you have done business with. So because they harass everybody you have done business with, going forward, many people will stop doing business with you. Suppose they raid you and they arrest you on PMLA charges. Any vendor you have paid money to, or any client you have received money from, technically could be connected to your quote-unquote money laundering. Then they could be summoned, arrested, and then their vendors and clients can also be arrested. So once you do, in my case, my mother-in-law's architect was summoned. My web designer was summoned because he made a website for me. This is a young boy living in a rented accommodation. The ED went to his house, and that's it. A middle class boy. He had no children. He was just recently married, and they created such a ruckus there. The landlord threw him out. You know how it is in a middle class neighborhood. Minute the police come, they say something is wrong.
But do you believe these photographs, which is your version of humor, will be seen as cocky? There's another photograph.
I'm definitely cocky. There's no doubt about
it. Say that again. I was speaking.
I am definitely cocky, and I want to cock a snook at these agencies.
Why are you cocky? It will be seen as arrogance.
Because they are targeting me, and this is my way of giving it back to them. I don't have any other resources at the moment to give it back. This is the way I do it.
How does cockiness help?
It just shows that I don't give a damn about these cases because they mean nothing and they will all die a natural death.
There is a photograph from many years ago, which is at least etched in my memory as a journalist, where you are being taken away and you have your fist raised upwards to the sky,
because it is
like you're a hero instead of being someone arrested for corruption charges.
The corruption charges is false. I've been arrested for political reasons. For nothing else. The only reason they went after me is because I'm my father's son, and it's a political reason. And I've been only detained because of my politics, and I want to make that point. I am not corrupt. I have not done anybody any favors. I've never interfered in the functioning of the government of India in any manner or form. I've never visited my father's office to meet officers there. I have never had any kind of conversation with any officer about anything he or she was dealing with. So anything you're doing to me is definitely political targeting.
So you're not scared?
Absolutely not. What is there to be scared?
Of going back to jail again?
I mean, if the judiciary allows that to happen, so be it. The judiciary can allow anything to happen, right?
But it's the same judiciary that also gave you bail in 23 days.
Because there was somebody who saw the absurdity of the whole thing, and you should read para 50 of of Justice Garg's order, and you will realize how absurd the charges are against me. Just one paragraph, para 50 of Justice Garg's order.
Okay, towards the end, you said you were punished for being your father's son. Let's talk a little bit about, I think you told a story once that you were 6 years old when you were on an election stage, right?
It was 1977.
Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, I remember this.
What happened?
No, my grandmother wrote me a small poem which she asked me.
About a cow?
Because the cow and calf are the Congress symbol.
I see.
So she wrote me a poem in Tamil which actually meant that the cow and calf is good for the home. It's in a rural home they have it. It's also good for the country. It's just a 2-line poem which I recited.
Did you always know that you would be in politics?
I think so. I think I always wanted to. It's also the environment I was born in. Because my father was in politics well before I was born. But I was very high. I always wanted to be in politics. I was always wanted to be in politics.
Now, I don't want to ask you a simple-minded question about nepotism because I'm a journalist who's a journalist's daughter. You're a politician who's a politician's son. How do we address this question?
See, this is a sociological fact.
Yeah.
This is not specific to the Congress party.
Agreed.
And it's not specific to India alone. It is the same in Pakistan, it's the same in Bangladesh, it's the same in Sri Lanka. In fact, the country which has the maximum number of people who come from political families is Japan. 70% of members of the Diet come from political families. This is a South Asian, perhaps Asian phenomenon. This was a case in Europe as well before. But as society became more upper middle class and things like that, political parties sort of transformed. India too, it will transform. It will transform in maybe 25 years' time or maybe longer. See, but in India, leadership has not transitioned from family to non-family in any political party. Pretty much.
But there is one difference that while the BJP also has children who are children of politicians, the Congress has always been accused of the capture of power at the top of the party by one family.
Why only the Congress? Like you can say
and so number of regional parties
every party, right
have
from
that
National
problem.
Conference, PDP,
yes,
and even those who break away from the Congress and DMK, TDP, BRS.
Is that healthy?
That's the sociological fact because you see
the BJP doesn't have that problem.
They don't have that problem, but for them it's different. They still congregate and sort of circulate around the RSS, which is quote unquote family for them. It's slightly different. I agree. The communist parties don't have the same.
Correct.
Issue. But every other political, because here socially people seem to depend on families and personalities. So on leaderships, it doesn't seem to go beyond that, and that will change. It will change. It's happened. It's happened in cricket. I mean, look at the kind of democratization which has happened in cricket. This will also happen in politics. But politics, perhaps it will take more time. Even those who break away from Congress party, when they start their own party, look at Mamata Banerjee. She's broken away. Who's he anointed as a successor? Her nephew. Look at Mr. Sharad Pawar. He broke away. Who is he anointing as his successor? His daughter or before
Correct.
his nephew now.
Yeah.
So even Vaiko, for example, he made such a big song and dance about the fact that Karunanidhi was promoting his son. And he broke away. At one point of time, he broke away with almost 50% of the district secretaries of the DMK. And then he made this saying that, in DMK, I am the most articulate speaker and I am not being given this space. And Karunanidhi is favoring his son. And today, what has happened to Vaiko? He's become a shadow of himself. And the only Lok Sabha seat which was allotted to his party was given to his son. What Mr. Vaiko, who's waxed all his political life against the dynastic succession of the DMK, has done exactly the same to his party.
There was a period when your father broke away from the Congress. The Tamil Manila Congress, as you've said, was virtually birthed at your home. And then that experiment ended and he returned to the fold. Do you sometimes think that you could have a life outside of the Congress? A political life?
Very difficult. I don't think anybody will tolerate me outside the Congress. I'm too free-spirited and...
the Congress has never asked you to shut up and pipe down?
The Congress is a large tent. You see, the Congress, that's the strength of the Congress. It allows various voices to coexist. It doesn't straitjacket people the way the BJP does, or sometimes regional parties do. So it will be very difficult for me to exist in any other political setup other than the Congress itself. Either it has to be the Congress or no politics.
Is that an option?
Yeah, of course, there's no politics is an option. I'm not going to be in politics forever. I think politicians must retire. Unfortunately, in India, politicians don't retire. And I think I do have a retirement date in mind.
What is that?
No, I have not achieved enough to announce that yet. But there is life beyond politics. I'd like to do other things as well. I'd like to go back and focus on tennis development a lot more, which is, again, I'm falling behind that right now. I want to travel more. I mean, of course, the courts allow me to travel. They do allow me to travel.
Yeah.
But it's still a rigmarole. But I want to do other things. I don't think anybody should be... I know in India, politicians rarely retire, but I think politicians should retire.
What has it been like to grow up in the shadows of a very strong father, a public figure, and how often do you disagree, and what are the things you disagree on? Do you politically disagree on issues?
No, we are both liberal and in the sense socially liberal. And
but there's a generation gap.
There's a generation gap. The way I approach, my interpersonal skills are slightly different from his interpersonal skills. When he comes from a little bit more of a formal, communication skills than me. I think I'm more direct, shorter, briefer. So it's different. So of course,
but on issues, do you disagree?
But not. Perhaps in style of functioning we disagree, but broadly not. But both of us are socially very liberal, and we are also economically liberal. That way, we are quite aligned in that way, and the Congress allows us to be that.
Let me end by asking you where you see politics in Tamil Nadu in 2026. It's still some distance away. A week is, sometimes a decade in politics. But if you were to just look ahead.
The point is that the people underestimate the ADMK. They underestimate the ADMK.
So you're not writing it off despite these results?
So first and foremost, the two leaves is a very powerful symbol.
Yeah.
But they have only functioned well under a supreme leader. And they have no supreme leader now. And not only a supreme leader for the party, that leader was a vastly accepted leader by the people of Tamil Nadu as well, be it MGR or Jayalalitha. But their party is very poor on social media, and they are not very articulate in English. Since they are very poor in social media, people don't notice them. And because they are not very articulate in English, national media doesn't cover them enough. Even their MPs, when they come to Delhi, they don't really interact with media. Even if you ask your most seasoned reporter, name the two ADMK MPs in Rajya Sabha, they'll struggle. Yeah. But they will know people from smaller parties who are a little bit more...
And they'll all know Annamalai.
They'll all know Annamalai, who has lost 2 elections back to back. Because the PR machine is better for them. They really don't communicate well with middle class India. They don't communicate well with urban India. But they are a rooted rural party, so I won't write them off. But they have lots of internal dissensions, which whether they will sort it out or not is not my concern. So writing off the ADMK will be a mistake. The DMK obviously is in pole position because they are organizationally very strong, they have resources, and they also have a very clear defined leadership. The leadership is very clear. After Mr. Stalin, it will be Udayanidhi Stalin. So there is no dissension or differences in their setup. And Mr. Stalin's acceptance on a personal level is very high in spite of some issues of anti-incumbency which have crept into that. And the fact is there are newer and newer political formations coming in. Because these newer political formations are coming in, they typically, when they come from the cinema background, they immediately want to declare themselves as chief ministers. Because they declare themselves as chief ministers, it's very difficult for them to have alliances with other people. And the BJP, as you rightly said in the beginning, they want to decimate the principal opposition party first. So they won't have an alliance with the ADMK. So if they have a multi-cornered contest, And if the DMK-led India bloc is intact, the pole position will be for.
But do you believe the Congress should go it alone in the assembly elections?
Not at all. We are in no shape or form to contest elections alone. We will lose every single seat. We need to do a whole lot of things internally before we can even think of that. And that 2 years is all not
Then
enough.
How do you solve the identity crisis? Let's end where we started.
The identity crisis, first and foremost, can end by first cleaning house internally and start off, empowering office bearers to take responsibility and to take decisions and to start talking about people's issues in Tamil Nadu without construing it to be as an alliance breaker. And then when the time of alliance comes, yes, formalize the alliance, contest the seats, but there is a lot of politics to do before elections. You can't be reaching out to people and, I always tell people the last thing you must go tell a person is vote for me. The last thing. You must have multiple other conversations with the people and multiple other relationships with the people before you ask for their vote. You can't go and tell somebody, vote for me. And unfortunately, the Congress in Tamil Nadu, because we have a larger alliance partner, just goes to the election and then on the strength of the alliance asks for votes. So what are the other conversations that are happening? What are the other relationships that are happening? I think we are not having all those things. And young people in Tamil Nadu have too many other options to go to.
Yeah.
Young people don't look at the Congress. Even though Rahul Gandhi's stock is high, but that's at a national level. No national leader can win a state election. So, but on a national level, on a national election, I'm absolutely confident Tamil Nadu will again vote for a formation which has Rahul Gandhi as a leader. But when it comes to a state election, that's not the USP. So, but we need to show options. We need to do a lot more at the state level. Whether we will do it or not, I don't know.
Interesting times, Karti Chidambram. Thank you so much.
You.
Thank you.